Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on line plots. This lecture we'll see how we can draw line plots in Bokeh. So let's see an example. As usual, we start by defining our figure, and we'll save it in a variable called p. You can save it in any other variable for that matter. Okay, let's save it in L for line plots. Okay, so we'll define our figure and then pass the plot width and plot height attributes. We'll set our plot width to be 450, and for our plot height we'll set it to be 350. And don't forget to, if you haven't done so, don't forget to import Bokeh and also your output file as notebook. Okay, so I have done that in the beginning of the lecture. So from bokeh.io, import output notebook and show, and don't forget to import figure from bokeh.plotting interface. I have already done that, so that's why I haven't imported, but don't forget those, especially if you start a new notebook, you'll need to import those. Okay, so once we define our figure, the next thing we need to do is call the line method on our figure object. Okay, so we have our figure L, and then we'll call the line method on it, and then pass the x and y points for your line plot. So let's use the x points 2, 3, 4, and 6, and for our y-axis I'll pass some values, let's say 4, 2, 6, and 4. Okay, and once we have that, we'll call the show method and then pass L. Show and then pass L. Okay, so this is a simple line plot. Let me run it and show you what it looks like. Okay, we have a simple line plot with the points that I pass, right? So to make it look nicer, we can pass some additional attributes. One attribute is known as the line width attribute. Let's pass that and see what we get. So let me copy this and paste it in a new line. So one other attribute that we can pass is the line width attribute, and let's set it to be equal to 3. Another attribute is the color attribute. Of course, we can change the color of our line to whatever color that we want. Let's try red, and then call our show method and then pass L. Now if we run it, we have a line plot that looks like this. So let's look at another example. Here in our line plot, you know that from our line method we see that we have 4 points. Right, the first point is at 2 and 4, the second point is at 3, 2, the third point is, oh, I'm missing a comma here. Okay, that's why I only see 3 points. Okay, let me add a comma and run the cells again. Okay, I am also missing a comma here. Let me add a comma, and let me copy my figure here, paste it here, run it again, and let me copy those 2 lines, paste it here, and run it. Okay, here we see that we have 4 points, right? The first one is at 2, 4, the second one is at 3, 2, the third one at 4, 6, and the last one at 4, 4. But just by looking at the line graph or the line plot, we cannot actually see the points, right? Here I made it distinctive so that our points are, you know, where the line meets. So at the vertex, the first point is here, the second point is here, the third point is here, the fourth point is here, right? However, if the line is let's say, a simple straight line. So if all the values of x and y are the same, it will be a simple straight line, and we won't know where the values lie or how many points we have for our line plot. To solve this problem, what we can do is add different markers for our points in our line graph. For instance, we can add a marker here, wherever we have points, we can add markers. Let's see how we can do that. So let's copy our figure attribute, paste it here, and then let's call our line method. So L dot, let me run this, and then call our line method L dot line, and then pass x and y points. So to prove my point, I'll pass the same values for our x and y coordinates. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now let's pass the line width attribute and set it to 3. Let's also pass color, and let's set it to be red. And now we can call the show method and then pass L. So here we have a straight line, but we don't know where the points are. And as I mentioned, we can solve this by adding markers to our points, and we can do that by calling the various marker methods on our line figure. So our line figure is L dot, and then you can call any markers that you like. For instance, I can call the marker triangle. In the previous lecture, we looked at square, diamond, and circle markers. You can use any of those, and then, or in my case, I'm using the triangle marker. So what we do is pass the same x and y coordinates for our triangle marker. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the x coordinates, and for the y coordinates we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's for our markers. And then we can pass the size attribute and set it to be, let's say, 14. We can pass the fill color attribute, and let's use yellow for instance. Okay, now that we have those, we finally call the show method, and then pass our L figure. Now if we run it, we see that we have markers for the points that we used in our line graph. Okay, so that's one thing to note. And you can also add color attribute here so that the borders of your triangle markers are different. You can set it to green or any color that you like, or you can leave it as it is. Okay, so I wanted to show you that you can call any of the methods, like the triangle method, circle method, or asterisk method on your line figure, and then show those points in your line plot. Okay, I just wanted to quickly show you that. And another thing you can do is you can have more than one line plot in the same figure. Okay, let me copy these points and then paste it here. So I'll go to a new cell and then show you here. And let me also copy this to save some time. Command C, Command V. So here we have our line method with our points, and then we use the triangle markers. And let's call another line method, and let's add some markers. Let's use circle this time, and then pass values for our circle markers. So we pass the same x and y values as our line plot. So 2, 3, 4, and 6, and the y values will be 4, 2, 6, and 4, right? And let's pass the size attribute and then set it to be 14. Fill color. To make it a little bit different, we can make it orange, and then the edge of the colors we can make it, let's try black. And once we have those, we can simply call the show method and then pass L. Now if we run this, oh, we have both of them as red. Let me change the color of one of the line plots to, let's try green. Run it again. Okay, so here we have your first line plot and your second line plot is in green, right? And the points that we used are represented by yellow circle markers, right, for our green line, and then triangle markers for our red line. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly show you that. Great, this is what I have for this lecture. In the next lecture, we'll continue our discussion on bokeh plots. Thank you, everyone.